Welcome back to Cheche. If you're just joining us, we're speaking to the chairman of the National Police Service Commission, Johnstone Kavulundi, and we've been talking about vetting and the ills plaguing the Police Service Commission. But the vetting and the corruption, it's all part of your mandate, which is reforming the police service. So let's turn our attention to that. On a scale, on a broad scale, 1 to 10, where do we stand on reforming Kenya's police service?
Well, thank you. From the outset, I want to say that reforms in the police service are expected to be driven in a three-pronged approach. One, we take cognizance of the fact that the Ransley report is very specific and very clear on what should rank highest. And then the police reforms implementation unit that was headed by Dr. Naikuni came up with what should take priority ranking, and that is what we are going by. One of those things was to come up with an implementation unit, police reforms implementation unit, based at the Ministry of Interior. And the National Police Service Commission is a member represented through our CEO. Then we have got the police services itself, which has got very specific reforms that it needs to carry out in terms of operations. And then there is the National Police Service Commission, which is reforming aspects that relate to the general management, general policy, the welfare of police officers. So it is not the responsibility of the Commission to drive reforms alone, but together with the Ministry of Interior, with the National Police Service, and ourselves.
Okay.
So when it comes to our responsibility, we've been able to ensure that, first of all, and it was our primary responsibility, the appointments procedure is more competitive. It is through this process that you saw the Inspector General of Police appointed. Because hitherto, the Commissioner of Police was always appointed by His Excellency the President. That's it. It was competitive. You've been able to see the Deputy Inspectors General appointed through competitive, interviewing process. The same applied to the Director Criminal Investigations. That is a process we are going through all the way down until we will put in place Senior Assistant Inspectors General. It will be done competitively. The public will participate, which has not been the case before. You will be given a chance, Mr. Mutege, to say, I don't think this man or this woman deserves to be promoted. This is a person that deserves to be promoted. And we'll go through Assistant Inspector General. Those will go on progressively until we permeate to the lower levels. That is in regard to that. There is the aspect of ensuring efficiency and effectiveness. How do you achieve that? Putting in place policy mechanisms that ensure that when it comes to promotion, when it comes to transfers, when it comes to matters relating to welfare, it is packaged well enough to ensure that that package is handed over to the Inspector General for purposes of implementation. Because the Inspector General is, so to speak, the CEO of the National Police Service Commission, implementing decisions of the Commission.
What improvement has been done in terms of recruiting constables? Because previously what used to happen is that DC or somebody, a politician, get a bunch of boys and take them to Kuganjo, stay there for 6 months and come out. Or somebody will bribe, like it is done in the military. You pay 100,000 or 30,000, then you are recruited. What improvement has been made about recruitment?
Thank you, Mutegi. We've been able to recruit police officers once during our lifetime as a commission. And to do so, we collaborated very closely with the Office of the President in the year 2012, 2013, when the recruitments were done. A general policy guideline was arrived at, which ensured that the participation of the public is taken into account. The National Police Service was taking the actual footwork. And our job as a commission was to ensure that it was done transparently, overboard. It was done over a period of 1 day. Teams were sent out. Those who wanted to get into the police service came and participated. Civil society organizations were watching, and they were giving us reports on whether it was being done in accordance with the rules and regulations that had been set and which they had been made aware of. At the end of the day, the same names of persons who had been selected were brought to the commission. They were audited. We looked at the comments that were made by the local leadership, and at least in 2 places we know the exercise was repeated. But that was last year. This year, we're coming up with a different process. We do not believe that a police officer will be identified for training in a period of so few hours. We want to come up with a process of profiling an individual to see the extent to which they have what it takes in order to belong to the police service. So it won't be a one-day affair. But as soon as the policy guideline is available, we'll let the public know.
What does that mean? Does that mean they will have to advertise? They want jobs, then people apply?
Yes.
Not the way they go to the field and run?
No. Even last year, when it happened, they applied. The applications were looked at, and they were given a chance to now run. They were given a chance to be examined. It was not in writing, but that is going to happen. You are given the opportunity to demonstrate the skills you are talking about, communication skills, by writing. And after that, we use other methods, including the local administration, to look at your profile and be able to determine we are getting into the police service a person who is just not looking for a job. Because policing should not just be seen as a job for those who can't find any other employment. You must be seen to be suitable. So it will not take a day, but we are yet to determine how long it will take for a person to go through a grueling process that identifies one as one that is suitable to get into the police service.
We have just about 15 minutes left. So very quickly, you mentioned the appointment of the Inspector General, and much of your term so far, the 1 year you've been in office in this position, has been spent in turf wars with the Inspector General. What's your relationship like now?
It has always been good, even when it was perceived to be that we were at war. The truth of the matter is that where we operate, and that is in the boardrooms, we make collegiate decisions. And those decisions bind.
That's not what is known by the public. What is known to the public is that you decide one thing and you decide another one. Yes. Like, for instance, recruitment and posting.
Yes.
Recruitment and posting of officers.
He's challenged you on that?
There are challenges there. I
don't know whether your bodyguards withdrawn. And so you seem to be demonstrating communication skills here when we ask you a direct question.
Yes.
And you respond to say there's no such thing.
No, what I'm saying is that what goes on in the boardrooms is very collegiate, right?
You start fighting outside the boardroom.
The fighting seems to be outside.
Right.
And the truth is that certain practices are not easy to get rid of. Let me put it like this. All institutions go through the process of institutional development. You put a team of people together, they are not a team yet until they begin forming. And then they go through the process of storming. So what you saw is part of organizational development. You have to storm in order to find your space. Any institution goes through that. Then after that, you begin to
norm.
You know it. And then you begin to perform. I want to tell you, we have not even begun to perform, in my opinion. We are norming. And that's why you can see some people go to court and the Inspector General is told, maybe you shouldn't do that. Then you've seen some other people coming to the commission and they're not too satisfied that this commission can take certain decisions. They still will go to court or other places. Eventually they'll accept one reality. This commission is constitutionally mandated to carry out the following, and they will be able to settle down.
And yet we have the bills, just a minute, still on that line of thought, yet we have the bills, which when you read them, seem to be strengthening the hand of the Inspector General of Police. So how do you say that it's a collegial relationship when it would seem that there are those who believe that the Inspector General of Police should have a stronger mandate than is constitutionally provided for?
I'm sure if everybody remembers, when these bills went to Parliament, they had issues. And the issues were hinged on their constitutionality. And they're still in Parliament. Parliament has not completed the process of debating and passing them into law, amending what already existed. Our job as a commission is not to be involved in lawmaking. Our job is to be told, this is your law, go by it. and we shall apply it.
But you were appointed as part of the efforts to reform the police service and therefore make them accountable to a civilian authority.
That's right.
And the bills would seem to, withdraw that space that's been created. But you're not saying anything about it. So there's a sense in which, there's a sense in which beyond your position, you should be advocating for your position and for future heads of the National Police Service Commission, but you've been largely quiet.
We've actually advocated very strongly. It may just mean that we've not been to this forum to be able to do so. We have advocated very strongly with the parliamentary committees that have been looking at the law. We've also been able to sit down with the CIC, and we've been able to bring out the fact that if bills come into place which are unconstitutional, it will be difficult to operationalize the National Police Service Commission and make the police service accountable to Kenyans.
So let's be clear. What you're saying is those proposed amendments are misguided.
Large sections of them are misguided, because there is no way you will take a constitutional responsibility from the Commission and hand over the same to any other authority, unless we intend to change the Constitution. That is my position, is the position of the Commission. We have already given our views regarding the same, and we are saying that it is not possible for the Commission to be told that you are not going to do what constitutionally is your responsibility. So until the law comes into effect, our belief, our contention is that we still have the authority, the mandate to function in the manner described